There's a reason why I'm bored of going to Turkey right now. Even though I have it scheduled for like this year. Now, my aunt actually planned this holiday and without telling anybody, including me and my sister, and we stated lots of times that we just didn't want to because of what happened, during the corona crisis and so on. Now, especially with a number of things going on, um, it's made me wary. Like, I mean, for one, for example, I know Russia and Ukraine are at war right now. So that's a problem I think about. Well, basically, if I'm on an airplane traveling to I forget the name, but it's somewhere near Turkey. Um, it's gonna be bad for me because I worry. Um, I think about death a lot. Um, so apparently, and recently I am thinking going over there would make things worse. Like, for example, um, I could end up getting corona because from people in the airport, I could end up getting corona um on holiday. Which is bad because usually most that do travel on airplanes usually get corona before they end up on the plane. Um, so I don't know how I'm going to go through with this, and I just have this thought that if I do actually get it, at some point or something, or even basically during Turkey, whatever for that matter, well, somewhere near Turkey, I could end up being ill for a week, which would not allow me to go home, if I'm ill, which could make things worse, because I went through something similar, because I remember, I was on holiday one time in France, and they got I got the chicken pox, and I just couldn't go home. A feeling that could happen in Turkey, where I just get the corona in there, but of their variant, and such. So if I'm somehow survived flying over Russia's submarines or something in the ocean, and survived or whatever, then my holiday would probably get boring because less people would probably be in Turkey. Well, in the area next to Turkey, it'd probably be less people. It wouldn't be as good. It'd be boring. When you think about it, not many attraction or anything like that. It'd be absolutely boring. Um, I've already stated that I don't want to do any activities. Now there's a reason to that. I don't want to mix up in crowds. For a reason, because mixing up in crowds could make things a lot worse. And the thing is, if I get corona in the heat, I'm doomed. Because that also means, if you get like a temperature in the heat, it's bad because I could have a seizure. And that's what I worry about the most happening. Um, because first time I had a seizure was when I was younger. I was lying in a bed and I actually had a seizure. So I do not want that to happen again. I don't want it to end up worse than what I had with a seizure. Because if something happens like that, I could wound up in Turkish hospital. And I don't want that. Um, I actually just don't want to end up in the hospital. The one thing I'm hoping for though is to stop me from going on this first full flight is have the corona before I go on it, before I even set foot. You know what I mean? Before I actually get on the plane. Um, which would be better for me because at least then they deny me from me having the corona and whatever, and be like, oh, yep, she's got it, so she can't go. I'd be happy. I'd be like, hooray, I've got corona. So that's what I'm hoping on the day of August, that I do have the corona and I do not go to Turkey. That would save my life in a lot of ways, because that means I don't think about the Russian submarines in the ocean, launching a missile and launching it like airplanes flying past. So that's what's thinking on my mind right now, because I'm thinking if I did actually fly over, knowing how unlucky I am, that missile could hit the plane. And if I did somehow survive that, I'd probably be badly injured, and I'd probably be scared of heights. Well, no, I'm already scared of heights, but I'd probably be scared of airplanes. By then. I just feel like I just don't wanna, because the reasons is because, well, we've had corona around and it's still around, the coronavirus, and that makes me think that I'm not strong enough to travel abroad, because I've only had corona once. Yeah, that was last year in July. And there's a chance I could get it again, but I could still end up badly ill. So that's why I do not want to get ill on holiday. Because what happens with the heat when you're extremely ill, you're drowsy, you got migraines, you got temperatures and all sorts. You have a seizure. Yeah, a seizure. Especially with the heat, because you'd be sweating and everything. I would be done for in the heat. That would make it worse for me. Because that means I'd have trouble basically coping with it because of how hot the country would be. Which is why I usually always would have a fan. Because I can't tend with the heat. So I mean, that's why I seem to do better over here, and such, but I mean, I just wish I didn't actually get forcefully forced to go to the area near Turkey. Even though apparently everyone keeps basically rubbing horses in my face, I keep saying no. Reasons because of that is because their horses just feels like they're on steroids. I'm not kidding. Like when you intend to ride their horses, their actual horses, they're not very well trained, and such. You tend to ride them, and they won't stand still. Yeah, that's their horses. That's how bad the horses are. They don't stand still. They're not well trained to do so. And such, especially if like in the, some sort of a horse facility, which I do not trust, by the way, because I have been to three horse riding facilities. Well, three different ones. I've been to like a horse ranch. Nah, that didn't do good, because why? The pool advertisement was a lie. It was covered in like bees or something, which was bad. I think it was hornets or something. I can't remember which. The second one I went to was like in a forest area, and the horses were actually still on steroids, and such, because the horse I apparently rode, the staff weren't that good. They were thick. So they actually asked who's a pro. They didn't ask like, which type of horses can you ride? Stuff like that. They didn't ask. They just basically, I was more of a no, when it comes to riding, I'm not a pro rider. I'm somewhere in between. I'm like more of an immediate rider. That's like between beginner and pro. That means I can ride laid back horses and such on my own. I can't ride very young horses like stallions because they are too strong. They are too risky to control. They don't listen at all, and that's probably I would reckon why. That's probably why I reckoned that Turkish horses were probably stallions or something because they weren't well trained or whatever, and they were probably really really young. Um, so So that's probably a reason right there. Also, the reason I apparently get sick of turkey is because you just do the same thing over and over and over again. So what I mean is, you go to the a hotel, whatever, or apartment, whatever, and the next thing you do is you unpack. You unpack all your stuff in your rooms and such. Then apparently you do walking around. You don't go straight in the pool or anything. That's what you usually do, which is boring, by the way, because I'm sick of walking. And it's annoying because I drain faster in the heat. Which is also bad for me because I'm epileptic. So that's worse. Um, another thing is to point out is when I basically when it comes to trips and whatever, it just gets repetitive because I get forced on trips that I do not want to be on, unfortunately. Now those two go for the Jeep. So apparently the examples of that is the Jeep Safari. I'm sick of the Jeep Safari. Reasons why is because I don't do good with water in my eyes. I hate it. Unfortunately, I also hate dirt because if I get too dirty from the Jeep Safari, I hate it. To be honest, it's horrible. Because you have bits or something from the Jeep stuck on your skin. I hate that. Um, I just hate the whole thing. Apparently, like, I'm gonna have basically a show of my clothes on, whatever. I also hate the another thing about the Jeep Safari. I hate sand. Yeah, I hate sand. I can't stand it. Um, because it would get in my feet or whatever. Like if I'm wearing sandals, and I hate going on the safari with nothing but sandals. Yeah, it gets in my feet. I hate it. I hate sand. Um, Another thing I have to point out is it just feels repetitive. The journey it feels boring, really. And mostly, when it comes to food, I don't eat it at all because I don't like that food. I don't like anything they serve on the Jeep Safari. Not really my type of food at all. It looks different to me. I'm not keen on it. That's why I'm usually disgusted, especially seeing ants on the ground. During the Jeep Safari, I don't like it as well because that makes me not want to eat as well. Because there's always ants everywhere. And that's another reason why I don't like it. Um, okay, so moving on to the boat safari. I hate the boat safari. Reasons: it's too long and it's boring. Um, Now I don't do very well with boats. Unfortunately, I hate it. Because I always usually get nauseous on boats because they tilt side to side. That's why I hate boat travel. Especially with taxi boats, I hate them too. So more basically towards the boat safari. Now mainly you're on a course just going from one area to the other, and then you make a pit stop. Yada yada yada. You take a couple of swims now and again. On the travel. But that's about it. It's boring, really. And um, I hate seawater. I can't stand seawater. Because whenever you apparently jump in the water, even though you've got your mouth shut, the only problem is it goes in through your nose, or whatever, or through your ear. You know what I mean? It goes through either way, and it could end up with you tasting the ocean. Yeah, it's disgusting. I hate it. Yeah, another thing to point out with the boat safari, you can't swim properly in the ocean. Yeah, it's hard. the waves are too hard to move against. I've tried without a life jacket just to see how well I would do, and I actually sort of did well, but I was pushing my stamina out, so I just end up hating it more. So I just spend most of the time just not doing anything. Trying to sleep on the boat, but could not. Because again, I basically suffer due to some sort of motion sickness. So if I'm like on like if I'm on a boat or something like that, like a moving vehicle or something, I can't lay unless I'm comfortable. That's the problem. That's why I'm usually it's like the same with sunbeds. I can't sleep on a sunbed because of how uncomfortable it is. It's not like a normal bed, for example. That's why I'm used to beds because I can sleep comfortably on it. If you get what I mean. Um, so basically that's an example of the boat safari why I hate it so much. As well as the Jeep Safari. Now, now the other ones apparently there's probably some, but I don't plan on doing it. I just intend to rub it in everyone else's faces. So so for one, I actually do like it's a spa, but I can't really be bothered this year. Just because I want to make the holiday look like hell, so I end up staying home, and miserable because I deserve that. Um, and I'm also basically asking them not to take any pictures of me, not to video me or anything like that. I just want a very boring holiday where, I could just sleep in all the time and just not do anything for that matter. Oh, and another thing I have to point out about Turkey is the quilts aren't always that clean. When you think about it. Reasons why is because they're not very good. Not very good quilts or anything because it just feels like you're hugging a towel and whatever, and it just like molts or something like that. It kind of feels like that. The covers and whatever. Which is not like bed sheets, to be honest. It's worse. And it's not very cozy at all. Um, so that's one I have to point out. Um, the other things is most of the time you get really bad signal with internet and such due to like a lot of people hogging the actual internet itself. Um, that's another problem. Another problem is apparently cleaners. Now, the reason I would say cleaners is because cleaners do intend to steal stuff um, in your room, like in your actual room itself. Now, I had two games in Jalan, Pokemon Pearl and Pokemon Diamond. I had cheated Pokemon on there, like Celebi and such, and one day it went missing after the cleaners came in. Those games were gone. And you know where I left them? On the table. Yeah, next to my bed. And it was gone. That's the reason I don't trust cleaners because, you could put a good game on there or something and they could end up stealing it for their kids. That's why I don't like that. I, I, I'm just get sick of Turkey, to be honest. It's just I don't know, it's just repetitive. I've started to like grown out of Turkey now. Not only that, but because of Corona made it worse, so I can't really enjoy myself anymore. That's the main reason why. Um, I mean, basically the second example I already mentioned was some of the trips that I'm not really into. Um, you know, and And the problem with me just walking and walking and walking and walking and walking and walking, getting forcibly used to walk more and more and more and more and more, especially if it's up steps, into shops, and so on. I hate it. Yeah. because all I'm looking at is rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Clothes, secondhand stuff, Turkish people trying to make you buy stuff and such that you don't really want to buy. Um, uh, it's just terrible. I mean, there is an example I can show. Reasons why you shouldn't buy anything from Turkey. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna basically show the example of why you shouldn't buy anything in Turkey. To be honest, this is why. Yeah, this is from Turkey. Unfortunately. Now, if you probably see, this, that has the metal thing on it, well, the other side doesn't. You know what I mean? Their headsets are rubbish. Yeah, I had one. It had two metal plates on it and whatever, but well, let's just say my aunt's new boyfriend broke it, so I had to like run back and get another one. But except that was broken too. Most of their bloody headsets, though, mostly were just not that good. They were crap. I only got them to like listen to music and such, but there you go. Never buy anything like that in Turkey. No technology. I mean, you can most likely get scammed. I mean, I did with a couple of Pokemon games. I got scammed, unfortunately. Because what they intend to do is they tend to like do something to it. Like for example, they put a different sticker. They make like a fake sticker or something. And they put it on that Pokemon game. Even though it's a different Pokemon game for that matter, it turns out end up being a different Pokemon game. That's why I wouldn't trust Turkey with their games. Because they could all be scammed with different stickers, so then you don't know which what game it actually is until you buy it. And then if you try to return it, they say no. You know what I mean? Just making more money out of you. So there's one. Not to do with 30 at all. Even though you can bargain with them, for a certain price though, in order to get something you're after. Which is one they usually fall for. But still, I mean, like I said, I'm just fed up with Turkey, to be honest. It doesn't feel like anything changes. You're going through the same stuff over and over and over again. It just doesn't change. So it's like apparently you at most nights you go to like you see karaoke's and stuff around and you're like, okay, it's this night again. Okay, not bothered. I'm leaving. Yeah, it's kind of like that. You know what I mean? Where you're just like sick of just seeing like turns sometimes, where you're just like sick of seeing the old stuff all the time, and you just want something different for once. You know what I mean? Something like that. Like you're sick of going to the same holiday that you've been going for like years, and that's what I feel at this point. I'm sick because I've actually been going since I was a kid and whatever to Turkey, and I've gotten tired of it. So I've always considered a different country to travel to, one that will be different. You know what I mean? One that's a change from what we usually go to. But at this point, I can't risk going on holiday to another country while Corona is still in effect. That's why I'm usually moody because of the whole Corona thing. So that's why I'm thinking it'll be more boring. Nothing to look forward to. That's why I've been thinking a lot of death threats and whatever during thinking about the holiday that I didn't plan at all, which was my aunt's fault. Which I tried to talk into, but nothing got sorted. So I don't really know what to do, to be honest. I mean, the holiday's in August, but I'm hoping I get the corona for once. I really do. I want the Corona on the day I go to Turkey, and for that matter. At least then I have a chance of staying home. And so yeah, so at least then you understand what Turkey is like and whatever after you've went for so long and you get sick of it for that time, whatever. Especially being forced to do stuff that you don't really want to do anymore. So there you have it. That's basically all the things to do with Turkey and what I would go through with Turkey and whatever. It, like I said, it's repetitive. It's mostly for for like other people that intend to relax. Me, I'm not a relaxable person. I have a trouble relaxing. Because I'm not like everyone else where I can just sleep on anything and it wouldn't bother me. Um, I mean, I always have the thoughts of barricading myself into something. That's usually what I think of right now. Um, which is why that's a problem with me. So the thing is, when I think about it, though, I usually would think, oh, if I did end up in Turkey, I'd probably think about a bath instead of a shower. Because at least then I'd be able to soak in it. Without having to go in the pool. To be honest, it'd be better than actually. The other thing I have to say is the towels that you apparently get. That you would usually put yourself around after you've come out of the shower or something. It molts. Unfortunately, they're rubbish. They're not. They don't do that good. They leave like towel hairs on your skin. So I don't like the towels. They're not that good. I think they're cheaply made. Most of the stuff they use for like quilts and stuff like that, they're all probably cheaply made. Which is why I don't like it, to be honest. That's why I preferred something a bit cleaner. So So, for a future reminder, if you ever basically plan on this sort of stuff, do not go for an apartment or basically a hotel because they use cheaply made stuff. So, your best chance is a holiday home where you can just have the pool yourself, where you just apparently look after the stuff yourself. You know what I mean? Whatever's there, and then it's fine. At least then you don't have any issues. I mean, that's what I was looking for this year. A holiday home instead of like an apartment or a hotel. You know what I mean? It would have been easier. It would have been better, and it would have been cleaner. As well. So yeah, that's all I've got to say about about the reasons of Turkey and whatever. So, yeah.